Hi, everybody. This is Avrohom Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange. I hope you and yours are well. We must continue to pray for the situation in Israel and around the globe, that God should protect the Jewish people wherever they may be. There's been the week of Hanukkah. There's been many miracles to protect the Jewish people, but there's also been some tragic losses. And may the Almighty continue to protect all of us wherever they may be and get rid of the modern-day Hamans, the evil people that are trying to hurt and destroy the Jewish people. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Tisa. And in Parshat Tisa, it tells us the name of the people that were in charge of the construction of the tabernacle. That's the temporary Mishkan, the temporary temple, that mobile temple that moved with the Jewish people throughout the desert. And the main person was Bezalel ben Uri ben Hur, Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Hur. And why does it tell us his grandfather's name? And this leads us to another question. What's the best investment? Well, the best investments, as any financial advisor would tell you, would be one that pays the best long-term benefits. And God is the ultimate CPA, that celestial payback accountant. He keeps good track of things, and he pays back sometimes in this world, sometimes in the world to come, but he's always paying back for the good that we did. So the grandfather, Bezalel, his name was Hur, and he defended God's honor when it came to the sin of the golden calf, which is one of the things in this week's Torah portion as well. And unfortunately, tragically, he was killed. And because he stood up for the honor of God, his grandson, Bezalel, who was very learned, being in charge of the construction of the tabernacle, wasn't just being a good engineer or have good management skills. He had to have great spiritual insights to infuse the building with holiness and divine inspiration. And he had that. But he got the honor of doing this job and the merit of doing this job because of his grandfather's sacrifice for the honor of God. So no good deed or tear in prayer or effort is ever wasted. We may not see the results right away, but God keeps good count. And I'd like to share a story with you like that. There was a young Israeli fellow who was totally secular, not interested in religion at all, and was anti-religious actually. And he was walking down the street in Tel Aviv one day, and he hears someone saying, "Mencha, Mencha." Didn't mean anything to him. And the man approached him and said, "Look, we have 9 people for a minyan, for a quorum, to be able to do afternoon prayers, and we need a 10th. Could you please join us?" He says, "It's not for me. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's a prayer, God. Not for me." No, please. It would mean a lot for us. We just have enough people, and you be the 10th. It would be very helpful. It's not for me. But the man kept on asking him nicely, and he said, "Okay, I'll go." And he comes inside, and he sits down, and they give him a prayer book. He doesn't open it. And he's looking around and they start the prayer service. It's a short 15 minutes. And he sees that he's touched. These people are not just robots. They're praying with intent and feeling, and they really mean this. And he was very moved by it. And when he finished the prayer, he left, and there was an outreach organization that wanted to teach secular people about Judaism, and he always ignored them. And now he was intrigued, and he called them up and joined their program, eventually actually becoming religious. And his father said, "You think you know the story why my son became religious?" And they said, "Yeah, he went to the shul and he was inspired by the people." He said, "No, that's not it. That's a start, but that's not the real thing. My father, his grandfather, was religious and prayed in that particular synagogue, and somehow the power of his soul in that synagogue and his prayers for his future offspring had an impact. And that's why his grandson became religious." And just to share another short story about a couple that were very poor, And the husband saved up some money to put a deposit down on a new dress for his wife. And on the way to the tailor, and again, they were very poor. They didn't have clothing. They didn't have much food. On the way there, he saw a new volume of the Talmud that came out with a new commentary. And he said, oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautifully done. And I would love to have that for my son. And the cost is basically around the same amount of money that I have for the down payment. I think I know my wife. I think she'd be happy too. And he put down the money and bought the volume of the Talmud for his son with a new commentary. Great rabbi's commentary, Rashash. And he came home and he was a little nervous how his wife was going to react. He thought she'd be happy, but he wasn't 100% sure. And he came and he said, look, I took the money and I bought the volume for our son. And she said, that's the best gift you could have gotten me. I greatly appreciate it. Better than the dress that you were buying me. I very much thank you for the idea, but the Gemara for our son to be able to grow in Torah, that means a lot to me. And in fact, the son did grow to be a great rabbi and dean of a yeshiva. So the best investment is in spirituality for ourselves and for the future generations. And that has the biggest payoff. May the Almighty help us and again protect the Jewish people wherever they may be, that we may realize that our prayers and acts of loving kindness and focus on what's important in life is an investment not only for ourselves, but for the future and future generations as well. Have a great Shabbos.